morning, everyone. I don't know, because I'm considered to be very tough man. And that is one of the reasons I have stopped inviting politicians into any of my personal programs. If they don't have a value for the education, then I really wonder what they are doing. Most of the thing has been already covered by very respected. I'm really happy to hear he called me a friend, but he's a very accomplished and a distinguished personality, Dr. Stapak and Dr. Patidar. Dr. Patidar's message, you have covered the entire challenges of school education. What we forget in these kind of things. Now all these things are available. We can see what are the major issues we are facing, what the government is doing, are we onto the right track or not. But we don't go to the grassroots level to solve these challenges. What are these challenges? The first challenge is that when a child gets an admission into a primary school or a kindergarten or any first appearance in the school, you know, the major problem is not that how the teachers are going to teach them. The major issue is how to handle the behavior of the child. Now, he is coming to the school after spending 4 years, 5 years, 6 years at home. The first teaching by the parents have already established in form of their behavior, because we scientists, we believe that whatever I am today, whatever you are today, is the reflection of 0 to 7 years of age. Now, we have a 0 to 7 in Asia, and especially in Indian countries, but all over the world, people say 0 to 5. So don't think that I'm talking something wrong, but in Asia, India, we have seen, because parents are very possessive, and they have, then we say that 0 to 7 is the age that whatever my personality, whatever my behavior, whatever my attitude is today, is reflection of 0 to 7 years. In India, it is very easy to produce kids, but none of us, we know how to raise them. I, after did my PhD from PGI Chandigarh, I spent good many years in University of Illinois, Chicago. I worked in a veteran administration hospital over there. I want to tell you an interesting thing. When a woman is pregnant and first time she is going to the gynecologist, they gave them a 14-page small booklet. I'm talking about like 15 years back. If they have changed it, I don't know. 14 years booklet, and this booklet, a woman and the partner has to go through it, and then on a subsequent visits, the gynecologist or that particular department will take quizzes from them out of that. It's basically how to raise your kids. And if you do very well, then you get incentives, like 50% off onto the bill, or 25% on this, or scholarship to your child, or something like that. This is the first way to train the parents how to deal with your own children. None of us, including myself, we are fully aware how to deal with the children. We all believe we can. There is no rocket science in this. So the first thing is behavior. Dr. Stapak talked about 3 things: knowledge, skill, and behavior. You know what? There is a iceberg model which says that you know only 10% of other human being. I've been married for 27 years. and I know my wife only 10%. स्थापक साहब के 35 साल हो गए होंगे तो 11 या 12% होगा. It's not exactly a thermometer what I'm talking about, but what I'm saying is an indicating figure that nobody knows other person more than 10%. Most of us as a parents, we know that I know my child inside out. I know what he wants. Nobody knows that. What we know in another human being is only two things, which is knowledge and skill, nothing else. What we don't know, the 90% of us, is my beliefs, my judgments, my opinions, my morals, my values. Is anybody sitting over here knows about my values? You may talk about that I'm intelligent, not intelligent, good looking, not, talking about my qualification, calling my experience, talking about my other parameters, but you, none of you, including my wife, knows about me, about my beliefs, about my morals, about my values. Now what happens when this child which has developed these values, all these things what I talked about is called attitude in one word. There's a very important saying which says that it is easy to get a job with your IQ, but your success is based on emotional quotient, which is your attitude. You can be fired, or you would be very successful person if you are having a good attitude. Now, when this child comes to the school with whatever values and morals he has learned from the parents, it is very difficult for principals and teachers to reform that kind of behavior. Because we already know, Patidar Saab ne bataya, that we are already having less teachers. The situation is quite challenging, and sometimes we allow teachers to teach 7, 8 classes in a day. Virtually they don't have time. If they're in the class, there are 40, 50 students, they cannot, I'm making a big statement, they cannot change the behavior because it's a continuous effort, it's a rigorous effort to change a behavior of any other human being. And this child, whatever he was kind of values and attitude he was having, he's carrying on till his death. Now, this attitude is your success or a failure. How to deal with that? Schools cannot deal with that. You are all people are highly, I would say, blessed people who are working in good schools. Think about that 42% schools in India does not have electricity. Now, things are improving. I'm giving you data of 1.5, 2 years back. And another 46% schools were manned by one teacher. That is a big challenge. And we are talking about critical thinking. CBSE is a classic because through UPSC, I have worked with Ministry of HRD for many years, and then I also moved to the university, also moved to Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs. Now I know that CBSE is talking about inclusiveness. CBSE is talking about holistic education. Can they tell me which institute provides this kind of a training in India where I can learn it and apply? It should not be only onto the circulars that we should have these kind of things. So once, I worked with the government, and then I thought that I should go to the corporations, and from last 12 years I'm working with the Jindal Group, and I was in the corporation. Then I was very privileged to establish not OPJU, but the OP Jindal Institute of Technology with Sthapak Saab. And then we established the OP Jindal Global University, and I'm very proudly, I'm telling you that today we are the youngest university in the world to be ranked. In the world. No other university has ever ranked into the world rankings in just 9 years, which we could achieve it. But it's a great achievement. I can feel it. Behavior of our students is a big question mark. What kind of things they are indulging in, their aggression, their receptivity, their frustration level, their suicidal tendencies to whatnot. And in spite of having so many counselors and all, we are not able to deal with those kind of things. Now, here is a big challenge, how we can deal with these kind of things. That's why we started, particularly the Jindal Institute of Behavioral Sciences, we started providing so-called trainings, but I just call it awareness programs. We have already done with 28,000 principals in India, with over 2,600 schools. We have done this also over here in Raipur 2 years back, where probably over 120 principals were here in Marriott last time, and we conduct this 3-hour session. But what this awareness is to talk about, that we conduct a programs, it's all free of cost. We conduct a program on campus, which many people come from all over the world. We are getting people from Africa to Arab countries, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Nepal, everywhere, Sri Lanka, and so on. And we have trained these teachers and principals on campus free of cost. So we will pick you up from the airport or railway station. We will take you to the campus, 5 days training program, and we have a mock trainings, good 16 delicacies, food, excellent accommodation, all free. Most of the time people think that, oh, they are doing it because they are coming and coming to the schools is because they want students. It's not that case. I'm already getting 10,000 applications for 500 seats. So it's not for that. So my request is that, I'll just take 3-4 more minutes. That right now the situation in India is that our gross enrollment ratio. Government is claiming that it is almost 25. I have a big doubt on it. Even if it is at 25, that is not enough. Now it is not the GDP which is being considered for the development and the growth of the countries. It is basically the gross enrollment ratio. If you have more people qualified, then that is more important. So, if I give you a little statistics, you will be astonished to see that first of all, not 100 children born in this country, they go to the school, only 98 goes to the school. These are official figures. In class 1 to class 5, there is a drop of 22% in that. In the middle class, 5 to 8, there's a further drop of almost 18. Then from 8 to 10th, there's a further drop of 16-17%. The end story is the 98 who joined initially to the higher education, as per the government, I think it is little less, but let me speak government language, 25 goes to the higher education, which is very less compared to the American, Germany, Korea, Japan, where it is anywhere between 60% to 80% higher education. So that is something we need to inculcate in our students, that education is important for us. Another thing with the school, because you are the principals, I want to tell you, when you hire PRTs, primary teachers, you think छोटे से बच्चे को पढ़ाना है, किसी को भी ले लो. That is the biggest mistake we do that. Today, if your education minister would have been here, I would have been suggesting him today that change the salary pattern of the teachers. PRTs should get a higher salary than the PGTs. Because they are the one, if they can contribute something towards the development, to the right kind of a behavior, it is only the PRT teachers. Once they are into the class 6, TGTs and PGTs cannot do anything. They will only do a subject-oriented teaching, but nothing that making a base of that child. So PRTs are one of the most important people in our schools. Another thing is, there is a big mismatch on two things. The first is industry and academia interface. What we are teaching them, and after class 8th or class 10th, if somebody wants to work somewhere in any organization, they don't get a job because they said we don't want. So there has to be some courses. I'm glad CBSE started some vocational education courses. I am also fully aware that there is a stigma attached. The students are not interested to take a carpentry or plumbing or a masonry jobs, but we need to encourage that. You will be surprised to know we have only 12% of the population who has trained into the vocational education. If you take Korea, 92% people are trained on a vocational education. They don't hire people to do the paints, they do it themselves. They repair their things themselves. That is another big stigma which we have, industry and academia interface. The second major problem is that CBSE says, I know all of you are fully aware that after the class 10th and 12th exams of the board exams, some marking sheets comes. Now this marking sheet is that you are when evaluating, assessing the answer sheets, they ask you to see for these kind of words in that. If somebody has written 5 words, give them 100%, and 4 words, 3 words, blah, blah, blah. When this child, after passing class 12, when they come to the higher education, if they write exactly what is written in a book, then we say plagiarism. And we say it's a criminal offense. CBSE has to change that system completely, because when they are talking about a critical thinking, strategic thinking, it should come from the students, not from exactly how to evaluate the assessment. If some child has written something different, the same example what Mr. Sthapak has given, and they will not be given marks for that, because the marking scheme tells you how to mark, and they look for what kind of words. Those are the major issues which we are facing with us. I'm going to do another session with you for an hour. It would be an interesting session for stress management and performance enhancement. If I will get time, I will also tell you some triggers, not a rocket science, how your students can get 10% more marks. Not by telling them how to study, what to study, how to have a good quality of life. And I give you a guarantee that if you will listen, and if your students can apply even 50% of what we are going to talk about, your students would be successful people. I'm very happy because schools don't spare their teachers that easily, and you could come here and you are spending time with us, and we'll make sure that your visit, your participation to this summit should be useful, and we'll try our level best. Thank you very much.